Good evening and welcome to this very special edition of the Construction Collective Show, brought to you in conjunction with the fine folks at Case Construction Equipment. Earlier today, Case hosted a massive virtual product launch to herald the latest twist in a story that has been more than 60 years in the making. Tonight's show will be focused on the present and on the future. But while I'm bringing my co-host Peter Haddock onto the stream, I'd like to give you a little context with a look back at how this astonishing story began. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Mark. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
You're coming through loud and clear, and hopefully you're coming through loud and clear on your own LinkedIn channel, because this is beaming direct to your audience as we speak.
Listen, Mark, this is so exciting. I've been doing a few things on LinkedIn Live that have gone really, really well. People have gone pinged right next to me while I've gone live on site and stuff. But I really wanted to bring some excitement to the audience in the big things that we do together. And today, it's on LinkedIn. I can see it just next to me, that we're live on LinkedIn on my channel. Welcome to everybody that's watching it live and even watching it after, Mark. This is really exciting time for me, and I love what we're trying to do here today. Brilliant.
Fantastic. Now, you attended this morning's virtual launch. You and I have done quite a few of these since March 2020. What did you make of this one?
You know what, Mark? We've done a lot of these, and there've been all sorts of different types of things that they've come across and whatever. But you know what? As we move to another sort of new norm that we're in now, I really, really enjoyed the fact that this was about people. They had, and I'll tell you, they had people from Poland, France, Spain, and the UK. And they were all testing the units, and they were the most important people, really, for me, that Case showcased today, really. And I think from my perspective, that was really, really powerful. You know, it really was. And there was a great influencer, Herb, who's basically said about the products, and this is what's really cool, this overwhelming surprise relating to the breakout forces and cycle speeds. And what I like about the Case is they're not afraid to put real comments out there. So it's brilliant. And again, one thing before we move on, this was the most powerful people piece that I think. Thomas, he basically said, it's much better made than the previous one. I think they did a very good job. Well, for a brand like Case, a global brand, to go, hey, we're going to put this person's comment on that says this is a lot better than the previous one. Well, brands don't normally do that, Mark. Brands just say everything's brilliant. And, you know, this is why it was so powerful for me today, listening to real people that have been on this machine.
I think you're dead right. And I think there are a couple of people sat in our green room who are probably enjoying those sort of comments right now. It is time to get this show properly underway. But before we do, just one very quick point. The fine folks at Case have set aside some exclusive branded merchandise that we will be giving to one lucky winner. And that's what you can win. With the nights closing in, the coat will be very handy. If any of you can tell the time, the watch will be very handy. I wish I had some money to put in the wallet, but I haven't. But I'm sure it will be a great prize for somebody. In order to win that, all you need to do, as it says on the banner there, is just type Case into the chat. That's all we ask you to do. So just type Case. That's C-A-S-E. It can be uppercase, lowercase, or a combination thereof. And our randomizer will select a winner later on in the show. Peter, I think you and I have built this up for quite long enough. I think it's about time we revealed what it is that we're talking about. So stand by your beds, people, because this is brilliant.
Wow, oh wow, Mark, that's something else, isn't it? And remember, folks, get on the Case. I've got the Case app. Put Case in the chat, and you could win all that merch. And we've got some more guests on, Mark. Hello.
The important people have turned up, actually. I can think of no actual good reason why people wouldn't already know you anyway, but just in case, let's start with a few introductions. Guys, can you introduce yourself? And let's start with you, bottom right there, Hayden. Introduce yourself and let people know what it is you're all about.
Good evening, gentlemen. Hayden Bale. I'm the demonstrator and product specialist for Case Construction in Northern Europe. Great to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to showcase our brand new backhoe.
You're more than welcome, Hayden. And Crispin, who is becoming a bit of a regular guest. Introduce yourself and let people who know who you are.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. My name's Crispin Turner, and I'm the marketing manager for Northern Europe.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, it's great to have you both here. If anyone has got questions for our guests, please post them in the chat, and don't forget to keep typing the word Case in there as well, because there is some merch up for grabs. But first of all, Crispin, I've got to congratulate you and the team at Case on keeping this under wraps. There's been a huge amount of speculation and rumour surrounding this. Why the secrecy?
It's a good question, Mark. I think ultimately, this was a new product, like from the ground up. Our product director in this morning's launch said exactly that. It wasn't just a stage 5 introduction, which some manufacturers do say is a new product. We introduced so much more with it, and we wanted to create some suspense. We wanted to create some excitement, come out with a bang. And ultimately, who doesn't like a product launch? Because I certainly do. It's one of the favourite parts of my job.
Funnily enough, it's one of the favourite parts of my job as well, actually. Now, we've just seen a very brief video. We do have a full walk around plan for a bit later in the show. But before we get to that, Hayden and Crispin, give us some of the highlights.
I think if we start to look at the machine as a whole, we basically would focus mainly as a new spectacle, the cab. We're looking at a much bigger cab, 10% bigger than the previous range. We have features in there to make the machine more enjoyable and comfortable to operate. Spacious cab. The big thing I think is for when we're turning in the seat and that sort of thing, we're no longer clattering our legs and knees on the side panels to turn 180 to the reverse of the machine. Functionality as well. Controls built into the front joystick for the loader and into the rear excavator, make it a much more enjoyable experience all round for the operator.
And Crispin, any standout points for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Hayden, I think that, I think first and foremost is the size of the cab. I mean, it's huge, compared to its predecessor and also others on the market. There's the noise reduction, it's a lot quieter, 3 decibels less. We've repositioned handbrakes, regrouped switches together. We've improved the air conditioning, so the machine's a lot more comfortable. We've introduced USB ports, 12-volt ports, mobile phone holders, Bluetooth technology. There's a new stage 5 engine, roller controls on the servo levers. And then we've got, reduced cost of maintenance. We've got the new SCR2 stage 5 engine with a new after treatment system. We've got eco mode, so there's reduced fuel save. Well, there is fuel savings, should I say. And we've got auto idle, auto engine shutdown. I mean, there was a huge amount built into the launch. So hopefully that's a bit of a flavour, but I'm sure we're going to hear a bit more about it later.
Absolutely. Now, I can sense that Peter is just itching to ask some questions, but before I turn him loose, let's take a look at the new machine in action. So, Peter, you're our resident expert on all things environmental and technological and everything else for that matter. So before we get to the full walk around, I'm sure you have a few questions. So take the lead.
You know what, Mark? I'm going to start a lot of these things nowadays with the word carbon, carbon, and carbon. Because, look, all of these things that we're doing out there, we have to be better for the environment. And for me, we also have to consider the operators and the stresses and strains that they face to make a profitable living. Yes, we need to be productive, but yes, we need to be profitable, and we need to make machines that can help operators and fleet owners to make money, and give a great, obviously, overall service to their customers. So What I'm really interested in, Mark, is the economies of this machine. So it's more powerful, I understand. You've got different things and different functions with the levers, but we've also got an issue, Mark, out there, which I want to understand, is the big shift in the UK market. So we've got a problem coming, and it's a very big, very costly problem. That's red diesel to white diesel. Huge, 40 pence a litre potentially put on the cost of fuel. And we've got the issue where people like Skanska, big contractors, are saying we're mandating the use of HVO biofuels onto the site. So the first question really is, Mark, is how much more efficient, productive, and therefore profitable can people be? And then the next question from me is, can it work on HVO? Who's going to answer?
Well, let me answer that one, guys. Yeah, the machine's fully HVO compatible. Obviously, yeah, you're highlighting this big issue that's coming to hit us very soon. HVO compatible, obviously, is a big plus point for us. Far more perhaps beneficial rather than a biofuel, which still creates lots of carbons in its production and that sort of thing. So HVO is the way to go. We combine that then with the SCR off filter, which combines a DPF and a selective catalytic reduction filter fitted into the exhaust system. This is exactly the same dimensions of the Tier 4i unit that we had before, so we've not compromised on space. We managed to fit that all in. We managed to meet the regulations and the emissions controls and maintain performance and economy with that. A couple of little features on the machine now that we have, which Crispin roughly went over, is the economy feature. We can activate a button on the side dash there, and once we're above 1800 RPM, the machine backs off its pressures within the hydraulic system. It senses what we're doing with the system and saves up to 10% more fuel as a course of that function. Auto idle again comes in 5 seconds after operation, stopping the operation using the levers. It cuts down to an idle, again saving fuel, and again 3 minutes later, if we stop using the levers, it will then switch the engine off, again preserving more fuel. So it's all about fuel backup and that sort of thing, and being able to monitor that as well with our site watch system.
Yeah, and you've mentioned there, Hayden, the site watch system. Now, Mark, again, this is really important to me because what we're seeing now is, if you're going to get onto some sites, backhoe loaders can be used in all sorts of different projects, large and small. But the things that people are talking about now is show me your impact. Show me the positive impact you're having on my site and how I'm going to let you on the site. So obviously in the UK, Mark, we have the CSAR scheme, which is for security, but we also have the emissions now scheme that's attached to that, which is emissions compliance verification. And that shows people on site whether something is a stage 5 engine and whether something's electric, for example. So people are going to be looking at these machines and going, is that going to be efficient on site? Is it stage 5 and is it going to deliver? But you're all well and good saying all of these things. I want proof. You can't just tick a box nowadays. You do want proof. And I'm really excited about the Case site watch system because not only does it do the normal bits with geofencing and bits and bobs and where's my machine and all these sort of things that we've known about, it's the reporting and the connectivity. And what I liked within the press launch, Mark, was somebody who sat in the cab with a tablet actually pulling off that information. That's what I want if I'm on site. I want to know what you've done, what's your fuel burn, what you've achieved on site. I can see physically, but I want to know that information. That's really important, guys, isn't it? And how do you think that's going to help people win work, which is the most important thing?
Well, I think what we
I think one of the things.
I'll let you go, Crispin.
Okay, I think no, the site watch system, is a brilliant piece of technology. It's all run on telematics, obviously, but it enables all our operators, owners of machines that have site watch to basically provide reports to their customers that looks at the fuel consumption used, and you can do a direct carbon conversion from that to actually highlight and demonstrate the carbon impact. You've got your utilization rates, so you can actually see if that machine is being utilized or it's just standing on site all day long. And that in itself is really good because you can actually go and say, well, actually, this machine is not working very much, but that one is working really hard. Either we share the workload, or actually, you could be saying, well, if that's happening across 2 or 3 machines, we can actually get rid of one machine and therefore reduce the carbon impact on site. The other thing is that, you can look at idle times, particularly with the TLB, and it is dependent on market, but, we know that the machines can be in places up to 40% in idle mode. And that's a huge amount of fuel being used that's not actually necessarily needed, and it's creating a carbon impact. And the auto idle and also auto shutdown will actually help reduce that significantly. And then when you combine that with the HVO compatibility, we can have a real opportunity to reduce the carbon impact of our machines on site.
I think that's really interesting as well, because not forgetting, folks, Site Watch is not just for the backhoe loader. We've got a lot of Case machines on the site, and we can say, look, what is the impact per Case machine? Hayden, I'm going to come to you with this, because one of the things I'm really excited about when technology comes into play is how we can use it in a positive sense to support operators and to support skills development. Because if we do see, for example, a very good operator with a lot of skills on a machine performing in a certain way through the Site Watch, we can get that individual to mentor other people to bring them up to that level. And we can identify that very quickly with this technology. And again, that's really important, isn't it, for us to support operators and bring new operators in without hitting them over the head with a stick. Let's help them with this technology. What are your thoughts on that, Hayden?
Definitely. The backhoe, I think, is one of those machines which is a difficult machine to get used to, particularly from a day one as a starter. I know a lot of people in the past grew up on backhoes, and it was the first machine they were thrown into. From personal experience, I remember well being told, if you can drive a backhoe, you can drive anything. The beauty now that we have all this information coming out of the machine electronically is that we can then look at ourselves as individual operators. We can see how we're operating in different circumstances. We can see the fuel consumption figures going in different directions when we're doing different jobs in different applications, and we can change our practices. I think the benefit of mentoring, of the old head and the new head getting together to come together to get the best performance out of a machine will never be replaced as such. But the fact you can have a hard figures there on a daily basis, you can monitor it with an iPad or on your smartphone and that sort of thing, and you can improve and see, and you can challenge yourself each day to improve on those fuel consumption figures a little bit when you're doing various jobs.
And that's great, folks. And there's one more before we need to see a bit more of this machine, guys. I'm interested to see what kind of flexibility does this machine offer to the operator when you've got the hydraulic quick coupler that is now potential to go onto this machine. And, that's going to be really important, isn't it? Because the great thing with a backhoe loader is they've got a loader at the front that can carry all the attachments, and they've got a backhoe at the back that can use them, haven't they, Hayden? So what's the big advantage going to be with this sort of hydraulic quick coupler capability that's now on the machine?
Well, Case were the first to bring in the integrated quick coupler on the back end of the excavator arm there. It gives a lot more flexibility, swapping attachments very quickly and cleanly. I think the beauty of the integral integrated hitch is the fact that we don't lose any performance out of the machine. We retain full breakout performance, full load over heights, full lifting capabilities as well. So it makes it far more versatile. We can then also offer different versions to make us compatible with competitors and fit their buckets if necessary. But the integral one is the one and the way to go to maintain the actual performance of the machine.
Thanks very much, Hayden. Let's see that machine, Mark, shall we? And before that, Mark, we've got to make sure people are saying, getting on the case.
Get in on the case, absolutely. I do have somewhere about my person. That's what's up for grabs. If you'd like to type the word case into the chat, you could be in with a chance of a case coat, a case watch, and a case wallet as well. As Peter has rightly said, it is time to see the machine in more detail. I'm about to roll a detailed 10-minute machine walk around. 10 minutes because there's an awful lot on this machine that you need to see, but also 10 minutes because I'm a man of a certain age, and frankly, I could need a break at any moment now. If the video that I'm about to play throws up any questions, please leave them in the chat and we'll get to them just as soon as the film finishes. So my fellow guests, you can grab a drink or go for a walk or stretch your legs or whatever you like, because I'm about to roll the film.
Let's talk about the heart of the machine, and also one of the novelties we are introducing in the SV series. These machines are powered with a 3.6-liter engine, either with 96 or 110 horsepower. A few features of this. We are meeting the latest Stage 5 requirements with a maintenance-free after-treatment system. We're also granting one-side engine serviceability and no fuel consumption deterioration versus Stage 4.
Yes, sustainable performance. We accept no compromise in performance, and we are able to deliver the same best-in-class power and torque density while dramatically reducing emissions. When it comes to productivity, another key element is certainly the backhoe. Our backhoe loader features the powerful Case DNA backhoe, which ensures operations are protected even in the most demanding working environments. And our exclusive outer extender hoe. All components in contact with the soil are protected against impact and material accumulation. Let's hear more from Umberto.
As you can see, it's the outer that slides in or out. So, great digging performances, great breakout forces, and high protection when you dig. On top of this, our extender hoe allows to integrate an hydraulic quick capper, and this means no deterioration in performances whatever attachment you want to use.
And let's not forget about our inline cylinder layout. Aligned cylinders ensure perfect visibility across the boom, thanks to a narrower and straighter frame, achieved by distributing the stress along the entire boom. This is a typical solution adopted on large excavators, where productivity is a must. And that's not all. It's also important to preserve the job site ground. This is why we have two more options available. Let's hear again from Umberto.
Let's now talk about two important options when you need to preserve the ground on your job sites: rubber stabilizer pads and hydraulic side shift. With the hydraulic side shift, the operator just needs to press a button in the cab and can slide left to right the backhoe on the H-frame without the need to pinpoint the backhoe bucket on the ground. Case provides solutions to your needs.
Thank you, Umberto. Let's continue the walk around of the machine. We are also introducing new features that will speed up your work and further enhance your experience on board. First one is the new FNR switch on the loader handle that allow easier traveling direction change during loading applications. The second one is the new roller switch on pilot joystick for quicker and more precise deeper extension. Let's now talk about the second main benefit customers are expecting from the new SV series: profitability. Profitability is certainly a key element when purchasing a machine, as every euro saved can make a difference in your everyday work. As we have already said, despite of the Stage 5 regulations, you will not have any fuel and urea consumption deterioration compared to the Stage 4 machine. And to further improve your profitability, we are introducing three important new features. First one is the new Eco Mode, standard on all units. The Eco Mode automatically regulates engine speed and hydraulic pressure in all operations that do not require sustained speed and power. The result is remarkable. With the Eco Mode, you will achieve up to 10% saving on fuel. An additional saving and more eco-friendliness also come from the new auto idle and auto engine shutdown functions. Auto idle automatically lowers the engine speed, whatever the working mode position, when the machine has been inactive for more than 5 seconds. Auto engine shutdown switches off the engine when there has been no activity for more than 3 minutes. Being pioneers and innovators in backhoe loaders requires not only a great heritage, but also proven technologies and best-in-class suppliers. This is the only way to guarantee a maximum reliability and, consequently, reduce downtime and maintenance costs. Our new compact high-efficiency SCR2 after-treatment system is a great example of that. It has been designed with FPT Industrial specifically for the backhoe loader type of applications, and it is absolutely maintenance-free. This will reduce your operating cost and maximize vehicle uptime. Talking about maintenance and serviceability, another great saving comes from the 500 hours oil change interval and from the one-side layout for engine serviceability for an easy and fast maintenance operations. In addition, all fuses and relays are now comfortably located in the cab within easy and practical reach. Another primary element for your productivity and profitability is certainly represented by connected and non-connected after-sales services. We have developed Case Service Solutions, a new range of services that support your experience with Case equipment to boost productivity and improve machine uptime. Firstly, Case Site Watch, a complete fleet management tool. It will help you in your daily work. For example, it allows you to geolocate the machine or to secure your fleet by setting up a geofence to be alerted in case of unauthorized use. It also generates a set of reports easily accessible through the portal to provide you with information such as fuel consumption, utilization rate, machine hours, idle time, very useful for productivity and profitability purposes. Case Site Connect is where we enhance the telemetry data that our Uptime Center team can use to provide your dealer with alerts based on your machine's parameters. They will be able to remotely access the history of the machine and take corrective actions faster. This enables your dealer to be proactive in managing your machine and boost uptime. And take corrective Both Site Watch and Site Connect are available options with the new SV proactive in managing your machine. Case Service Solutions also means full peace of mind, thanks to Case Protect, our extended warranty program, and Case Care, the planned maintenance for Case customers. Case Care is a recently launched initiative which is expanding and will be available on the SV range. We also offer Case Fluid Analysis to prevent major failures, maximize your asset reliability, and extend machine lifetime. And not only your machine will be ready to perform every day, but also the resale value of a constantly monitored machine is higher. In other words, Case Service Solution will keep the equipment in top condition with maximum uptime, no unexpected cost, and optimize profitability. To get to know more about these services and to find out which one comes as standard in your country, contact us on our social pages or check with your local dealer. He will welcome you and give you all the information you need. And now, let's get to what probably is the biggest innovation of this new series, the new cab, a king-size cab. Not only the design is new, it is more comfortable, more spacious, better finished, with many new features that will improve life on board overall and will make you more productive. The front and left console have been designed to grant superior and easy accessibility to the cab. Once inside, you will benefit from 10% more volume space compared to the previous model. A wider and more spacious cab means more space for you. In particular, we have greatly improved the feet and knee clearance when rotating the seat from loader to backhoe position. And now, Even the tallest operators will be able to rotate the seat with maximum comfort. And not only more space for you, we have greatly improved the storage capacity. Now we have 4 times storage space than previous series cabs, a figure that places us as a leader in the industry. You will find plenty of space to store your items and keep them protected, including 2 lockable compartments, 2 bottle cap holders, a cooling box, and 4 open trays. The front console grants superior visibility on the loader arm, and it can also be equipped with a speedometer. Rear visibility has also greatly improved. The new additional rear side glasses, which also means replacement are easier and less expensive. So, even in the most challenging situations, you will benefit from an excellent 360-degree visibility for more productivity, comfort, and safety on the job site and on the streets. The right-hand pillar and console have been redesigned to allow operator to easily reach all controls, switches, and the new Bluetooth radio, both in loader and backup positions. The control handle is also completely new, with a forward and reverse switch for quick and easy travel direction control during loading and unloading operations. And we also have a king-class seat. The Super Deluxe Air Suspension option has premium features, such as a fully adjustable height, backrest, and armrest. Heating is also available in case of cold weather. And not only will you enjoy a wider, more spacious and productive cab, the new SV Series cab is also very quiet. We have been able to lower the internal noise by more than 3 decibels compared to the previous cab.
I think that's just come to an end.
Here we are, Mark. We're back.
Yeah, I need to remove that. There we go. Not entirely sure what went wrong there. Just a very quick one. I've been keeping an eye on the competition for the merch that we mentioned earlier on, and I'm going to show it to you one more time. It doesn't appear that it's registered everybody. So if you can type Case into the chat while we're talking, then please do so, because I think it's actually managed to miss a few entrants. Now, we do have, I'm going to take that off the screen as soon as I can find it again. We have had some viewer questions, so let's get to those before we go any further. Ken Hatcher has asked, there we are, how easy are the jack leg adjustments? Gentlemen, over to you.
I presume we're talking about when the machine started to wear a little bit and you wanted to take the slack out of the jack legs to stop any sideways wobble. Basically, we've got shims mounted in the side pillars, so we can take a plate off, we can remove a couple of shims, adjust the plate back in to tighten the leg back up, and there's like a nylon wear pad within the actual box frame of the jack leg.
Okay, and Ken has got another question. Is aircon standard now and hydraulic check valves for lifting?
Yes, so on the 590 SV and 695 SV, air conditioning is something which is standard on those particular models. Also, check valves for compliance within the EU and that sort of thing are fitted onto the back end of the machine for lifting purposes.
Fantastic. Now, I've got a question of my own before we get to any more. A few years ago, it was suggested that the backhoe loader was in decline, yet Case has just unveiled an entirely new line, and I know several of your competitors have done exactly the same thing. It appears to me that talk of the demise of the backhoe was somewhat premature. Crispin?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I think that's a true statement to make. I think ultimately it depends how you look at it. If you look at it from a European or even a global perspective, you know, there's still thousands or tens of thousands of backhoes sold every single year around the globe. So the demand is still there. I think bring it back a little bit closer to home. Yes, the market has, as a total market, has declined, certainly from what it was sort of 10 years ago. But I think what we've seen now is, albeit it did drop, it's sort of now bottomed out. And in fact, you know, over the last couple of years, there have been on a year by year or year versus year basis, a slight increase. And, you know, I think there's still a place there. You know, there's rental fleets, you know, some of them do hold backhoe loaders. There's a lot of faithful people out there, particularly contractors, that maybe, you know, a one-man band, owner-operators, they can't afford to have, you know, a trailer, transport, you know, an excavator, a telehandler. You know, they just want one machine that can do everything and can travel to site. So there's just, you know, still a place for it. And I also think that part of the reason that market did decline was everybody was wanting to go to sort of the MIDI excavators, the 13-tonners. But now what we're seeing is that, yeah, you know, all manufacturers have adapted. We've tried to make the machine more excavator like, and therefore, you know, it's starting to attract people back. You know, some of the features that we've introduced today, you know, the servo controls with the roller switch for the extending dipper, those types of initiatives, forward neutral reverse on the loader lever, you know, they're all being more familiar to, you know, a lot of the operators of other types of machines, and as a result, it's not being seen as so foreign. So yeah, absolutely, the market has declined, but I think it's bottomed out, and you know, globally, there's still a huge demand for these machines, and you know, they're seen as very productive, reliable, you know, machines that will earn people money.
Now, designing and building. Sorry, I've kind of crossed you there, Hayden. You carry on.
From a versatility point of view, you're never going to beat a backhoe loader. The fact that, you know, you're self-contained, these guys, smaller contractors and that sort of thing, can reduce their costs by not having to hire in multiple machines to do a job, not having to hire in haulage and that sort of thing. They can go to a job, complete it at a price, get and move on, get on to the next job. And many manufacturers have tried over the years to create new machines and that sort of thing to replace the backhoe, but there isn't anything. It's the Swiss Army knife of the construction world, and I think it will always have a place because of that.
Ken Hatcher has just thrown up another question there. Case for the first with electric servos 30 years ago. Are the new ones electric? Gentlemen.
Yep. So basically, you've got electric over servo on the control levers. Yeah, for functionality, control, and that sort of thing.
Okay. Now it was Peter. I know you're itching to say something there.
You've just talked there, Hayden, and I found very interesting going from job to job. And I talk to a lot of people that are sort of in the agricultural world as well, and they use backhoe loaders to literally go from sites to sites and to do little jobs and everything. How fast is it? How fast is it? How quickly can we get from job to job site?
The machine
said the boy racer in the corner.
Sorry. The machines are capable of 40 kph to an automated transmission, making it very flexible and that sort of thing for getting from job to job, keeping up with traffic and that sort of thing, so you don't become too much of a hazard. Very compatible with sort of agricultural tractors on the highway as well.
One of the things that struck me when watching the presentation earlier today is, I guess, designing and building a machine is one thing, and I know it's not an easy thing, but it's one thing. But looking after it is quite another, and it seems that Case has done a lot of work to minimise maintenance and also to monitor the machines in the field to minimise that downtime even further, and which is, you know, it's great to see on a machine like a backhoe loader.
Well, definitely, you know, that's one of the beauties of the Site Watch and Site Connect is the fact that you can watch the machine remotely. You know, if faults are being thrown up on the machine, you can actually plan that in. You can also plan your servicing in, so you can see where the machine's at hours wise, making it a lot more cost effective for the service department and for the customer to come and back that machine up in the field.
I think the other thing to mention there, Mark, as well, Hayden, whilst you're on, is, you know, more and more people are looking at the sort of fluid analysis and fluid sampling with their machines. And that whole Case solutions package actually includes that now, Hayden. And why would you say to people that fluid sampling is important? Because I believe in fluid sampling. It's part and parcel of understanding the health of the machine inside the machine. You know, and that's really important if you're going to get this productivity. And the biggest thing we need is time, you know, so that's another thing that people, you know, probably don't know that they can actually take advantage of. Tell me a bit about it.
Yeah, well, you know, uptime is key. You know, if you're down, and that's costing you money. So the beauty of oil sampling is that you can preempt any possible failures within the machine, You can get that analysis back quickly. You can rectify the fault. You can actually schedule it in, so when you've finished a job, you can get the machine in, so you're not losing that time in the field. So it's invaluable. You know, we've always talked about it quite openly and as a positive thing within the larger wheel loaders, excavators, those big lumps of metal. But it's just as important within a backhoe.
Absolutely. And just a quickie, how about the oil changes? Have they increased when it comes to that sort of thing? Because it's another environmental thing. You can extend the oil change time, then you're not chucking it as much away, and you're not obviously having to replace it as often.
Yeah, engine oil changes are now up to 500 hours. It's one of those things which every engine manufacturer, and particularly FPT, are constantly driving forward to draw down those total cost of ownership figures and sort of extend the service intervals of these machines. But, you know, old school people tend to think, oh, crikey, you know, we need to change these oils more quickly and more regularly. But it's not just the oils, it's the filters. They're all upgraded along with the engine to make sure they're doing a really good job of maintaining those vital components.
Well, that's enough questions from me, Mark. I think we've got something way more exciting coming up.
We have. I'm going to make this the final call for you to type the word case into the chat to be entered into the prize draw. Peter's helping you with the spelling. I've just checked, and according to the giveaway randomizer, we've only had 6 entries. I can see about 12, if not more. So please, if you haven't already typed the word case, or even if you have, type the word case into the chat now, and we'll do the draw very, very soon. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Peter is our expert on all things technology and is our enthusiast in chief. I've largely figured out how to do a live stream show, but there was only one member of the Construction Collective team qualified to test the new machine, and that is Mr. Nick Drew of the Diggerman blog. He got behind the wheel first, and here he is.
That backhoe looks just so smooth when it's operated by somebody that knows what they're doing, Mark. You know, it's smooth, it's fast, he was moving some muck there, wasn't he?
He certainly was, and now you know why it was Nick that got to drive it and neither of us. I can see we've had a bunch more entries there. It still isn't changing the figure over on the giveaway tool, so I'm just going to hope that somebody sensible actually wins this. But as you've just seen, Nick Drew did get to drive it. I know Nick's still in the chat over there, so if anyone's got any questions for an independent third-party operator, please feel free. But in the meantime, fingers crossed, I'm going to try and get this randomizer to work. I'm going to hit it with a very big spanner in a second. Bear with me 1 second. That's not the right button. It's that one that I want, and it's that one. Bear, just talk amongst yourselves, people. And there we go. Right. We are all looking at the prize draw now. I'm going to roll it now. So large drum roll, please.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's Amy.
Well, Justin Carrigan has come up trumps.
It gets pretty cold there in Liverpool, mate. He's going to need that. He definitely is going to need that jacket, Justin. Wow, that's fantastic. Hope you do it in Scouser size. You know, that's the most important.
Yeah, it's good to see. In actual fact, Justin very kindly entered twice just to make sure that the randomizer was working. So thank you for that, Justin. Glad it's going to a safe home, and kind of glad that Ken Hatcher didn't win for once.
But also, what I'm hoping is that Justin, when we next see him, will actually open the wallet, Mark, that he's also won, and buy a round of drinks. So that would be.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hold your breath on that. So congratulations, Justin. Well deserved. I'm really, really pleased you won that. I'm sure the guys at Case will get you hooked up. Guys, any final thoughts? I mean, we've seen the machine. We've obviously Nick Drew has driven the machine. Any final thoughts on things that people should look out for with this spanking new backhoe loader that you've just introduced?
I think overall it's the.
I think really, in summary, there's.
Go on, Crispin. You first.
Crispin.
Oh, okay. I think, in summary, it's, we built the whole backhoe around 3 key pillars that are really important to customers, and that's comfort, its productivity, and its low cost of ownership. We've delivered that, with a larger cab. We've got, improved visibility. We've got huge amount of storage space, 4 times than before, and now the best in the industry. We've got all your Bluetooth, your USB ports, integrated forward, neutral, reverse in the loader lever, which I know from the customer that has trialed it in the UK was one of the biggest improvements that he had experienced. We've got the one-side servicing, and then coming on to the low cost of ownership, we've got the new Stage 5 engine that doesn't require regen, which is going to save a huge amount of sort of not only downtime but also fuel. The new eco mode for an increased improvement in fuel consumption of 10%, and then the auto idle and the auto shutdown. So there's a huge amount, I think, there for customers, and ultimately, the one thing that I can sort of recommend and certainly ask people to do is go and try one. Go and speak to your dealers and see what they've got.
The other thing for me, Mark, I'd like to ask is the obvious question: when are they available? When can I get one? Basically.
Well, yeah, Peter. I mean, basically, the machines are actually pretty much in production now. So we've already produced a number of machines already down the assembly lines, which is great news. And they should be really hitting dealers, sort of in the next 6 weeks to 8 weeks. So not long at all.
Great stuff.
As you can see, somebody that's actually been behind the wheel has just. This is the thing for the movie poster. I seriously suggest a demo of this machine. It's a cracker, said Nick Drew of the Diggerman blog. If somebody wants to get a screen grab of that, there you go.
It's a double thumbs up from him, Mark, surely.
Most certainly. It's always a double thumbs up from Nick. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure as always. One of the things that's pleased me, I know I spoke to Crispin very quickly off air before we came on to the live this evening, is the fact that these machines aren't going to be delayed or held up by deliveries and material shortages. They are ready to roll. So if you get an order in, Peter, I know how much you want a backhoe loader. If you'd like to order one now, I'm sure they can hook you up before the end of the year.
I think that's really important, Mark, because decisions are being made right now on which direction people will go, because there is a huge equipment shortage. We have some serious delays in some equipment coming through. So now's the time where people, might be looking and going, actually, look at the way in which I can work with this kind of machine. Look at the power, look at the, and everybody said it, all of those people that were on the actual Case user forum said the dig out forces are great, so you're not seeing this backhoe loader as something that is not going to do the job. And so there might be people out there that can really make a big decision that will going to be positive for them, because they can get a new machine, they can win work, they can get on sites, and they can actually profit in a way that they couldn't do if they didn't have a Stage 5 engine, for example.
No, totally. Guys, I guess the final question and the most important question is, where can people find out more? If somebody wants to buy one, somebody wants to demo one, somebody wants a brochure on one, where do they go?
I think the first port of call, obviously is the website. There's information on there about the new machine already. There's also an inquiry form that people can fill in. Equally, we've got social media pages, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. By all means, not only follow us, but there's information there that we've already been posting, particularly a lot of the videos from the launch, and there'll be more coming through in the next sort of few days and few weeks. But there's also our dealer network. We've got a great and extremely strong dealer network out there, all over the UK, Scotland, Ireland, and even in Europe. And they'll be more than happy to speak to you and provide you with the information.
Fantastic. Any final thoughts from you, Peter?
Well, I'm going to say to the guys, when these machines do come in, please let us talk to the customers in the UK that are going to buy them, and so that we can go on site and see how they're making money and being profitable with it. And I would really love to see a customer that is using this machine with HVO fuel as well, because that's something I'm really concentrated on at the moment, to really get to people to understand the benefits of alternative fuels, but also the benefits to the environment we have, and dispel some of those myths that these fuels are not going to work and they're not going to power the machine properly, because they are. And so I'm very open to going and speaking to one of those customers that's on. I'll be on the case with that, Mark, and certainly be ace really to go to site and see it all in action.
Just before we call it a day,
for you, Peter, then.
Fantastic stuff. I do need to make a very quick statement to ensure that we don't get in trouble with the Trade Descriptions Act. Nick Drew has just confessed that the video that we showed where I said it was Nick driving, it was actually Hayden. Nick was behind the camera at that point. Now, Nick has driven it. I hasten to add, Nick has driven it, but it was Hayden in the driving seat when that was being filmed. So, Hayden, my apologies. And if anybody from the Trade Descriptions Act is watching, my bad. I don't know what else to say.
I know he was there, Mark. I know he was there because I've seen some stuff that he's going to be putting out later on that. So I do know he was physically there in the cab. I can vouch for him.
Absolutely. Now, just one final point, and I think this really does sum things up. I've just had another comment from our lucky winner today. Well done to Case. Impressive launch today. Looks some machine. Totally agree. So maybe you can get Justin on site. He can hand his coat at the same time. The one thing I would say is we are very, very close to having completed an hour-long show on a backhoe loader. Wow. That's how much has been crammed into this new machine. It's not just a new ashtray and a new wing mirror. This is absolutely rammed to the hilt with new stuff. And I think that's evidence in the fact that we've been talking about it for an hour.
Yeah, Mark, and I think, it's really important for people to realize, why are we doing this? Why are we taking out this time to talk about new products? Because, Mark, there's not the events out there that you can go to at the moment. I did actually go to an event recently. It was an absolute breath of fresh air to go to this event and see people. And, I got to meet people that I'd connected with during this pandemic that came up to me, and I hadn't met them in the flesh before. We all want to get back to these things. And, and Case did put on an opportunity for Nick to get into that machine. What we really want to see in an industry is getting back to people being behind the levers of these new machines. So like you said before, Crispin, the dealers are going to have those demonstration units. Get on the phone to the dealers, go onto their social media, ask them, when can I get a demo of this machine? They're going to sort it out in a safe way for people to do that. But we must get excited, Mark, about the new norm as we pushing through to shows, to events, to demonstration opportunities, so that people can get back to what they love the most. And that is what Nick does. He just touches a lever and he goes, yes or no. And that's the whole point. You've got to touch and feel these machines, and therefore you can make decisions on how comfortable the seat is. And the one thing you don't want to do, Mark, is whiz around and smash your knee in a backhoe loader. But don't worry, 10% more room in this one. So the knee injury levels are going to be reduced significantly.
Peter was just looking for an opportunity to test out his swivel chair there. One of our friends from Luxembourg. Good evening to Luxembourg. Trade shows are starting up again. A breath of fresh air. Peter, he agrees with you entirely.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Right, guys, we've topped the hour. So I'm sure you've all got places to go and people to see and food to eat and that kind of thing. Crispin, Hayden, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you once again. Look forward to doing so again in the very near future. Wish you every success with the new backhoe loaders. Look forward to seeing one out on site very, very soon. I won't drive it. You wouldn't want that. Nor will Peter, but it'd be lovely to get the camera crew out and film one again, actually in operation. And as Peter rightly said, if we can do that with an HVO machine, even better still. Guys, I'm going to take you out of the stream. So thank you very much indeed for being here.
Thank you very much.
And I shall see you all very, very soon.
Thanks very much, guys.
And then there were two.
Well, Mark, I absolutely love that. You know, what a great looking machine. You know, a great bunch at Case as well. We've worked with them now on these kind of things and numerous times. And what I love about the attitude of the Case team is they're really embracing all of the things in the cab that people want, but all of the new ways of reaching people out there and the audiences that we can do tonight. And the fact that we can get those questions answered directly by those individuals means that, you know, we're doing our job. And, you know, what I really love about that is we're able to take this out as we're doing now. But in the future, we're going to be taking ourselves onto sites as we're already doing. I'm coming into some of your live shows from site now. So is Nick. But we're able to take this information to people, and it's going to be available for free on all these different channels. And it's wonderful to see people commenting, getting involved and being a part of that process, because we're just an enabling team that can get these conversations going, that can get us getting new machines into the market. And again, they can help the environmental impact that we have in construction. So wonderful, mate. A great show again. Thanks very much for helping me be a part of it.
Not a problem at all. I'm just going to make one final point, and it probably shouldn't even be a point, is the fact that when you look at these machines, and this one in particular, I think, it's the manufacturer has thought of everything. You know, even down to little things about where you put your phone while you're driving and that kind of thing. They have thought of everything. And I get the very distinct impression they've thought about it from the right point of view, not how much money can we make, not how many of these can we sell. How can we make the operator as productive and as comfortable as we possibly can? That's not a bad starting point, is it?
No. And Mark, you know what? You know, people are spending an awful lot of time in these machines, and it will be the choice between one brand and the next as to, is it a comfortable position? Am I in a position where all the levers, the things, even the cup holder is in the right position, so I'm not stretching out for it, you know, and can I have all the mod cons? Bluetooth, you know, connected radios, somewhere to put my phone so I can actually enjoy, you know, the Content with Media podcasts that I'm producing on a regular basis. You know, Content with Media, fine. Go there on your podcast favorite channel. But, you know, it's about that kind of thing. Making it as a workspace. We've got ours and they've got theirs, and why don't they deserve the very best? And that's what they should deserve, people that are operating plant and doing all the hard work for us.
That's a superb point, because as Crispin said earlier, you know, this is a machine traditionally that has been very much the owner-operator. These guys, they travel to work and from work in it. They work all day in it. What we've just seen is a mobile office, and it's a fantastic mobile office as well.
And it's got a lot more glass this time, Mark, and, you know, the visibility is a lot better, you know, and again, we always got to come back to everything we come back to is around safety. You can see better if you can have a more comfortable scenario in the cab so that you're not slipping and tripping, trying to get into it. You know, this has got a much bigger space to get into. Then realistically, you're doing something right for those end users, because nobody wants to be in an accident. Nobody wants to hurt themselves when they're going to work. They always want to be getting people home safe every single day that they're out on site.
That sounds like a perfect note on which to end. we did just have. I know you're monitoring LinkedIn because it is your LinkedIn. Somebody, and I'm sure you can identify them, said "good show, chaps." I'm fairly sure they were referring to Hayden and Crispin, to be perfectly honest. But I'll take it anyway.
Well, good show. Well, I'm trying to have a look at it right now, Mark, but it's not letting me. It's not updated. So, here we go. Good show, chaps. Gary Major. I missed the launch, Josh. Don't worry about it. Where can I find out more? At the Case website, Josh. So, thanks very much for coming along.
I can tell you even more than that, Josh. This show is. I'm not sure. I think you're watching on.
He's watching on LinkedIn, mate.
On LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn. This show is actually airing as we speak on YouTube and on Facebook for Diggers and Dozers. As soon as this show ends, the recorded version will be available. So if you missed any of this, you can watch it there. But I would strongly recommend you go over to the Case website because they've got a much more detailed video that includes some great customer comments as well. So go and check that out. But please feel free to check out the recording of this show as well. Peter, it's been an absolute pleasure, as it always is. Thank you very much for your contribution. I still prefer my hat, if I'm being completely honest. But
one of those, but I'm feeling a bit sad now at the end.
I'm not entirely sure whether this is actually something to do with Case or whether they think that's my birth date.
Well, who knows, Mark? They've got it very close with both. So there we go, guys. Thanks ever so much, Mark. And again, I love a great hosted show. Once again, Mark, he does a lot of work behind the scenes, folks, as well as being in front of the camera. And certainly is great to tag team with you, Mark, today. And thank you so much for letting me put this show out to my audience on LinkedIn. It's been a special moment.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Peter. I'll see you very, very soon.
You will. Bye-bye.
Well, assuming I can still get my head out the door after Peter's kind words, we will call it a day there. I will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp for the usual Breakfast show. We were talking earlier about exhibitions. I've got some news on exhibitions that you might want to tune in for tomorrow. But in the meantime, I'm going to say a huge thank you to my co-host, Peter Haddock. A huge thank you to Nick Drew for taking that machine for a spin, but much more importantly to the team at Case Construction Equipment and most specifically to Hayden and Crispin for being here and taking part in this show. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to bring this to you, but without further ado, I'm going to sign off and let you get on with your evening. Thanks very much indeed for watching.